years ago, I was a total shabba-dabba-ding-dong. It wasn't until I met my husband where he offered me the red pill or the blue pill, and now I accidentally thought that red pill was a hot tamale candy, so I took that one, and oh snap! My life turned upside down. It was 4.5 years ago where I thought that as long as I have a forkful of broccoli before my spoonful of ice cream, that I'm a healthy person. And this is why you don't go taking strange pills from random men, because then you just start looking at your ice cream a little bit sideways. You realize no matter how much broccoli you eat, it's not gonna save you from junky foods, and then all processed foods are just ruined for you, and you no longer live a normal person life. Thank you, honey. So it was 4.5 years ago where I slowly started having less pizza, then less alcohol, less chips, less candy, less tacos. And it was 3 years ago where I then officially no longer had any processed foods. Oh, I have too much fun with these videos. I believe getting rid of the processed foods is the single most important thing people could do to start improving their health, but it's so hard to do because you go to the grocery store, first thing you see, processed foods. You go to a friend's party, a work event, the gas station, a hospital vending machine. It's on commercials, social media, advertisements. It's like you can't get it out of your face no matter what you're doing. If you don't want to buy it, you gotta go through the grocery store with your eyes closed and your nose hole plugged just so you weren't tempted to buy it. I mean, honestly, people think I'm a wackadoodler for not eating processed foods because that's basically the equivalent of saying I don't breathe air. Yeah. And then for me to say I don't eat processed foods, people are like, okay, she's disciplined. But then when I go on to say, and I don't want them, I don't miss them, I forget they even exist, then people think, all right, this girl just went from being disciplined to a liar. Because I remember when I first met my husband and he didn't eat processed foods, I thought, I don't know if I can trust this man. But I promise you, I'm not crazy. Sorry, wrong word. I can't promise you that. I can promise you I'm happy. My life is awesome. I still have so much joy and bliss, even though I don't have processed foods that give that temporary bliss. And I know everybody could feel this way. They can still be happy without processed foods. In fact, I think they could be happier without them, but hey, you know, we can talk about that another day. I think the best first step someone could make towards becoming healthier is, it's very simple, just have more protein. Things like meat, fish, eggs, dairy, even nuts, technically beans, because by having more protein, it will fill people up, keep them full and satiated, that they're less likely to eat as much sugar. When I'm working with clients, I don't tell them to stop having sugar. I say, let's focus first on having more protein, because inevitably, if they eat more protein, they're gonna be so gosh darn full, they're going to slowly have less sugar. Okay, so other than processed foods, the other foods I haven't had these past 3 years are legumes and grains. Because to me, beans, legumes, they don't taste like anything special. And then with grains, my personal opinion, most grains in the US grocery stores, I would never touch. Nor do I think they are health promoting. But I have said several times that I think a homemade fermented sourdough, soaked in sprouted oats, and organic white jasmine rice can be okay grains depending on the person. Certain people definitely want to stay away from all grains completely, but myself, I don't have legumes or grains because for me to prepare them properly so that they're in their most nutritious and easy to digest state, it would involve a lot of prep work. Fermentation, soaking, sprouting, cooking, baking, the whole shebang, that the time investment for the little reward to me ain't worth it. Not getting a ton out of it, considering all the time investment. Now, before I go on, I make these videos because I want to help people. So that is my intention. However, I know that sometimes I further confuse people, and I recognize I'm not perfect. Sometimes I don't communicate things as well as I thought I did. I look back on videos from 2 years ago and I'm like, oh my goodness, what was I doing back then? So with that being said, to be very clear, a hypercarnivore is an animal whose diet is 70% or more animal foods, and the remaining part of the diet can come from plant foods. The or more part being important because that could mean someone's getting 75% of their calories from animal foods, someone else 90% animal foods, someone else eating 100% animal foods. All of that would be considered under the term hypercarnivore. And I understand the word hyper would make you think it's a more extreme version of a carnivore diet or a more restrictive version of carnivore, but it's the textbook definition. Like, I didn't make this word up. I did try using this word more in the past on YouTube videos and titles, but it seemed to confuse people because of that hyper word. So I stopped using it. But if I had to label my diet, hypercarnivore is the best word I've been able to find to describe how I eat. Because you guys know I don't eat a strict carnivore diet. I also don't eat a keto or ketovore diet, as I do have milk and yogurt and fruit each day. You watch videos from when I first started this channel, I randomly will have potatoes. At the end of the day, I don't eat any particular diet. I don't tell myself olives, I can't have those because of some rules of an arbitrary word or a random diet someone made up. I simply weigh the pros and cons to food before I eat it. The reason I didn't have a donut for breakfast this morning isn't because of my diet. It's because when I eat a donut, I'm gonna have more acne, weight gain, inflammation. I'm gonna have a headache. I'm not gonna feel as great. I'm gonna have a sugar crash and need to take a little siesta later on. So to me, it's not worth it. I just choose to eat the foods that make me feel good, which over the last 3 years, that means for me, a lot of meat, usually fruit, sometimes vegetables, sometimes nuts, but always meat, fish, and dairy. I don't eat any particular diet. I eat the Lillie Kane diet, which just so happens to be also considered a hypercarnivore diet. Okay, let's talk about fiber. Now, some people will say you want to have lots of fiber to have a healthy, long life, and other people say don't have any fiber at all. Both are right. Fiber is neither good nor bad. All fiber is it is food for our gut buddies. So if someone's healthy and they have a lot of good bacteria in their gut, when they have fiber, those good bacteria feed on the fiber and they grow and become stronger. But likewise, if someone's gut is overtaken by pathogenic microbes, they have fiber, then those bad bacteria feed on the fiber and they become stronger and more resilient, which most people do have some sort of gut issue, diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, leaky gut. And so I think most people would benefit by taking a break from the fiber. Fiber is not an essential nutrient. It's not necessary to be healthy. I actually think there's a limit on how much fiber the gut can handle before it starts damaging the gut. But I also think there is a place for fiber as well. Depends on the health status of the gut. If someone's got way more bad bacteria than good in their gut, I would definitely not have the fiber, at least temporarily. Moving on to electrolytes. Do people need to take electrolytes? No. One of the reasons why I suggest element electrolytes is because many people have the habit of drinking soda, iced tea, juices, energy drinks. They're having a lot of sugary drinks without any nutrients. And so to stop and break that habit, there's the option for the same price as a soda to have a flavorful drink. They have watermelon, raspberry, chocolate, a bunch of different flavors without sugar and with nutrients in it. Sodium, magnesium, potassium. There is the option of having a flavorful drink without sugar and with minerals. Now, other than that category of people, do people then still need to supplement with electrolytes? No, but people do need electrolytes, so they just gotta be getting it from food. I personally don't get enough magnesium from the foods that I eat. I think if someone's eating copious amounts of plants, if they're eating a whole foods vegan or vegetarian diet, they shouldn't have to supplement with magnesium. But to me, there's no harm in having extra magnesium. There's no harm in having more electrolytes. Again, all humans need it. So if you're looking to get more electrolytes, you can get 8 additional packages of Element for free with your order by going to the link in the description or the URL drinkelement.com/LillieKane for those extra free 8 packages with your order. And they do have money back guarantee, so if you don't like it, you can get your money back. Next important thing I learned was about meat aversions. Now, when I first heard about meat aversions, I was like, is this even a real thing? How could people get tired of eating meat? But then I started asking more questions, and I learned people really weren't getting tired of eating meat. They were getting tired of eating the same meat. Often I found people who were saying they had meat aversions were only eating ribeyes, or they only ever ate ground beef. So if you can tolerate other meats or have more variety in general, then I think it can prevent the meat aversion with having different textures and tastes other than just the same meat every day. I mean, I eat ground beef every day, but I also have other foods as well. If I were just to only eat ground beef, which I have done before, then I would want to eat a salad. So my best advice for meat aversions is to have more variety, different kinds of meat, dairy, seasonings, condiments. Of course, if a food bothers someone, then I wouldn't have it, but I'm sure there's a way to find more variety, bone broth, cottage cheese, bacon, chicken skins, that can help break up the monotony of just the same meat. Speaking of bacon, let's talk about controversial bacon. Firstly, one of the things I learned about bacon is to cook it in the oven. That has saved me so much time not cleaning my stovetop, and also I don't have to sit there flipping the bacon the whole time. So now I'll put bacon on parchment paper and pop it in the oven at 350 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes. Just depends on how much bacon you're making. If you're having 4 slices of bacon or 12 slices in the oven, it's going to have different cook times. But I have found my bacon, saves me a lot of cleanup, and it's easier. Bacon is one of my favorite foods in the whole planet, so I hate talking smack about bacon. But you guys ask why, if I love bacon so much, why I eat so little of it. Unfortunately, pigs aren't fed the cleanest diets. Even a pasture-raised pig, it's still gonna be eating some funky funkies. When a pig eats a diet of corn, soy, and grains, those inflammatory foods become the pig. Yeah, pigs are just walking corn, soy, grain machines that oink. And specifically, these inflammatory foods are stored in the pig's fat. Now with a cow, unlike a pig, cows have 4 stomach chambers. So if they eat corn, soy, and grains sprayed with a bunch of pesticides, herbicides, and chemicals, a cow should be able to filter out some of these nasty nasties. So I don't consider bacon a health food per se. Unless if someone's eating chips, then if they start having bacon for their crunchy food, then I do think bacon is a health food for that person. For me, I think that bacon is more of a mental health food. It makes me happy. And if I'm happier and I'm less stressed, then I will become healthier as a byproduct. I do have 8 slices of bacon a week. I enjoy every bite, but I don't consider the fats in bacon to be as healthy. That's another important thing I learned over the years too, is to keep everything in perspective, because someone may say that they lowered their cholesterol and lowered their triglycerides by having tons of bacon, but maybe this person's triglycerides and cholesterol were just even higher when they were having more dessert and nachos. Or if someone only has 10 pounds to lose and they see someone online say they lost 10 pounds in a month, but that person had 100 pounds to lose, they're gonna lose weight much faster than the person who only has 10 pounds to lose. So I think it's important to recognize where people are starting from, what are their past experiences, and just keep everything in perspective. I learned this today from a client. They said that they have been sucking on a salt rock whenever they have a headache. If someone's having more fatigue or low energy, then I've said to have more electrolytes or have more salt, but I never knew that there was a rock that someone could suck on. So it's kind of nice because it acts like a candy or a lollipop, where if someone doesn't want to just toss salt back in their mouth, they could suck on a rock of salt. My last biggest takeaway is it doesn't hurt to try something for 30 days. So whether that be removing coffee or having milk for 30 days, it may not go over very well, It also may be very beneficial, but there's no way to know unless you try. And there's gonna be a lot of different people online telling you what's good and bad for you, but there's no way for you to know unless you just test it for yourself. I'd say pick a piece of advice, let's say trying apple cider vinegar with a meal, do it for 30 days, and then see if it was worth it. If it doesn't work for you, that doesn't mean the person online was lying or that they have bad intentions or that they were trying to deceive people. It just means that piece of advice worked for that person. I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, and if they say that it helped and it worked for them, then I think that is their truth. My husband puts apple cider vinegar on his burger patties. I tried it. It is sour. It is nasty. He says he loves it. I don't think he's lying. I just think he has no taste buds. Just kidding, pricey boy. No, but I think that if you try something for 30 days and it goes bad, well, there's nothing that can't be fixed. And at least you have your answer, where you don't have to think and worry, I wish I would have tried it, or I regret, or I wonder. So instead, I would just do it, have your answer, and then let's keep going and move on to the next thing. I do offer coaching services and work with people one-on-one on how to attain their goals. I'll create meal plans, answer questions, do macros, help structure the day. So there is that option if you would like some coaching. I'll link that in the description. Otherwise, don't be silly, subscribe to Lillie, and I'll see you in the next one.